Welcome to Pour the Wine, It's Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Gary.
And I think you better pour the wine.
Yes, let me pour the wine.
We're pouring something a little different. We went with white tonight.
Yes, it's a lot warmer outside.
It's a lot warmer outside, so we are going with a Chardonnay.
That has been chilled.
And then after the podcast, we will continue that bottle.
Yes,
we're done.
Will.
Today, we're going to be reviewing Signed, Sealed, Delivered from Paris with Love that originally aired on June 16th in 2015.
Wow.
You can watch it now on Hallmark Plus.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Why are we reviewing the SSD canon now?
Tell me, why? Why are we doing it now?
Okay, let me tell you. Well, when we were watching the Hallmark Channel, we noticed that To the Moon and Back was going to air in April.
That's correct.
Or back in April.
Back in April, yeah.
We're in June.
We're in June.
Right? And we decided, why not watch the pilot in the series? So we decided to do that.
Yep. So
we fell in love, right?
Right. We did. We watched the pilot movie and then the series.
Yep.
And then we watched To the Moon and Back.
Yes, we did.
So we saw the very beginning and then missed a whole bunch in between and then saw To the Moon and Back. So now we're going back and rewatching and reviewing all of the movies. And the first one was For Christmas.
Yes.
Which we love.
Very much.
You need to go find it, watch it, add it to your list of holiday movies. And today we're reviewing the second movie that was released after the series.
To Paris.
From Paris.
From
Paris with Love.
With Love, yes.
So there we are. So we're going to be adding bonus podcast episodes of each of the SSD movies as we watch them in chronological order, of course.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
And you know what?
What?
If you don't want to miss any of our episodes, we would really love it if you click that follow button on your favorite podcast platform.
Click follow.
Right? Yes. If you listen on Apple or Spotify, you can also leave us a review.
We'd really love and appreciate if you do take the time and you have the time to leave a review.
Yep.
Hopefully it's 5 stars, but if it's not, that's okay.
Yeah.
Give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you.
And we would even read it during our podcast.
We might. Yeah.
But you can also follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X, and Threads.
All the things, all the socials.
So now, on with the show. Tell us, who is in this one?
Who is in From Paris with Love? Well, so what we'll do is I will talk about new actors and actresses that appear.
Yep.
I'll mention the core 4, of course, but if you want to hear some of their work that they've been in, go back and listen to the very beginning of For Christmas or our To the Moon and Back reviews, because we list all of the actors and
all of them.
Some of their work. It'd be too long to list all of their work. So, of course, From Paris with Love stars the core 4. Eric Mabius returns as Oliver O'Toole. Kristen Booth plays Shane McInerney. Did I say that right? McInerney. I have a hard time with the last name. Crystal Lowe plays Rita Hayworth, not to be confused with Rita Hayworth. And Jeff Gustafson plays Norman. Also in From Paris with Love, appearing as Holly, is Poppy Montgomery. This was her Hallmark premiere, and as far as I could tell, her only Hallmark production. Some of her other work includes 13 episodes of the ABC series Reef Break, Unforgettable. She was in 61 episodes from 2011 to 2016. That was a series with Jane Curtin and Dylan Walsh. Oh, wow. It looked kind of interesting. We might want to go back and watch that one. She is best known for her role in the TV series Without a Trace, where she played Samantha Spade in 160 episodes for the entire series run from 2002 to 2009.
Sweet.
Pretty cool.
Yes,
and in 1996, she was in 1 episode of NYPD Blue and Party of 5.
Oh, wow.
Zach Santiago plays Ramon Rodriguez. Now, I can't remember if I mentioned him before or
you
not.
did.
I did? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll just go over a few of his.
Okay.
For Hallmark, he's in 10 of the SSD movies and a few episodes of the series. He was in Legend of the Lost Locket in 2024, Christmas at the Golden Dragon in 2022, and Merry Go Round in 2022. And Mary is Marry.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a series called Sight Unseen, 1 episode in 2025. And Virgin River, he was in 3 episodes between 2022 and 2023.
Huh. Virgin River.
Kevin McGarry plays Joey. He's been in a ton of Hallmark productions, with From Paris with Love being his first.
Oh, wow.
It's his debut. He's Nathan Grant on When Calls the Heart, where he's been in 76 episodes between 2019 and 2025. Some of his other Hallmark work includes 2024's Reason for the Season. We watched that one. Do you remember that one? That was where the young woman has to earn her trust fund by granting the Christmas wishes to people who saved her life. He played the attorney in that. Yeah. He was in Checking It Twice in 2023. The 3 Wedding Veil movies, there were 2 of them in 2022 and 1 in 2023.
Okay.
And he was in the series Heartland, 48 episodes between 2016 and 2021.
Oh, wow.
And he will be in the upcoming Hallmark movie Villa Amore, which will premiere as part of Hallmark's Passport to Love on Saturday, June 21st, 2025.
Oh,
and our review of that movie will drop on Wednesday, June 25th.
Huh.
There you go. Some of his other work includes an episode of Schitt's Creek in 2020, the series Taken, after the movie, I guess, 1 episode in 2018, and the series Open Heart, 12 episodes in 2015.
Sweet.
Brooke Nevin plays Caitlin. A few of her Hallmark projects include Crashing Through the Snow in 2021, Jingle Around the Clock in 2018, and The Christmas Cure in 2017. Some of her other work, she was in 1 episode of Tracker in 2024.
Tracker.
The series Good Trouble, 7 episodes in between 2022 and 2024. The series Scorpion, she was in 5 episodes. That's a great series in 2016. And she was in the series Perception, 3 episodes in 2014.
Wow.
Another show that we really like.
Yeah.
That one got canceled.
The Scorpion reminds me of these characters too.
A little bit, yeah. You have a group of people that come together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Frank Zotter plays Ken. For Hallmark, he was in Darrow and Darrow in the Key of Murder in 2018, A Dash of Love in 2017, and Garage Sale Mystery, Guilty Until Proven Innocent. And I don't have the year for that one.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well.
He's also been in Alert Missing Persons Unit, 1 episode in 2025, and A Million Little Things for 1 episode in 2021.
Another good series.
Yep. There you go.
That's the list?
That's the list.
Wow. You want some Hallmark trivia?
I want some. Lay it on me.
This one's kind of easy. So Hallmark is based in which U.S. city?
Kansas City.
Yes.
Kansas City, because that's where they're having their Hallmark Christmas experience and all that jazz. Funny. Yeah, that one I knew.
That was easy.
That was an easy one. Yeah. Well, thank you for giving me an easy one and not making me laugh.
I know. A lot of them are hard.
Yeah.
So is it time to drop the synopsis?
All right, let's drop the synopsis. From Paris with Love. The Postables, Oliver, Shane, Rita, and Norman, return to explore the mystery of true love as they deliver divorce papers to one couple the same day Oliver's missing wife reappears. Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Crazy, right?
So what did you think?
Well, I could say this.
Say it. Lay it on me.
I was going into Signed, Sealed, Delivered From Paris with Love thinking, how in the world is this movie and the rest of them going to compare to Signed, Sealed, Deliver for Christmas?
For Christmas, right.
Because Hallmark raised that bar like very high.
They did. It's so good.
And after watching From Paris with Love, I have to say Hallmark did a good job.
Yes, I agree.
I loved this movie too. The characters, the way the banter between them.
Yes.
The growth throughout the movie.
Yes, I have that as well.
I mean, it was, for me, it was a good
It was
movie.
good. It's up there with For Christmas, you think?
It's
without
right,
giving away how many.
It's right under.
It's right under. Right. It's close. It's
you have to be way up there for Christmas, but this one,
I guess when
right
we're all
there.
Done, we can rank them, but it wouldn't be fair because they're all probably going to be great and with their own. Yeah.
So what did you think?
Well, we've seen 2 of the movies so far, like you just mentioned, right? To the Moon and Back, which is fast forward into the future.
Yep.
And we watch For Christmas. And I'm not counting like the pilot movie in the series.
Right.
And all that. I guess so 3 if you count the pilot movie. I just feel like the Signed, Sealed, Delivered series is like, it's like relaxing by a fire with, like, for us, it would be a glass of wine. Some people maybe a cup of coffee. Yeah. It's just the stories are cozy. They're a warm hug, and they're just really good for the soul.
It's like real life type
thing.
thing.
So I really, really enjoyed it too. I really loved it. I thought the notion of having the two storylines really parallel each other was brilliant. So
The
you
divorce
have,
stories.
Joey and Katie, that's one of the dead letters, right,
Right.
that they read. And then you have the dead letter from Oliver, right, that never got to his ex-wife. And so just to, you have the man, like I said, who accidentally sent divorce papers to his wife 2 years prior.
Right.
But it got lost. And then you have Oliver's letter, the year prior, not divorce papers, and both men were in a different place mentally and emotionally when they wrote those letters. And just the way those two storylines intersect with Shane, the whole relationship growth of Rita and Norman.
Yes.
You just mentioned relationship growth. Holly, Oliver's ex-wife, showing up, and just the whole spring of it all, right? They're in winter and they're talking about spring. Just really, really great writing and storytelling and acting.
Yes, it was.
So there you go. Those are my thoughts.
I mean, there were times in this movie where I was tearing up. I'm not even going to lie.
I know. Me too.
I mean, I have to say, Oliver and, all of them are really good at those scenes where, I mean, it's like they're pouring their heart out. And
I know.
And I'm like,
I
got chills and I'm tearing up. I'm like, oh, man.
I know. I have that as part of my cheers, and I know we're kind of jumping around, but yeah, there's just a lot of really, really good stuff in this one too.
All right. Well, let's dive into favorite scenes. Did you have any?
No. How much time do we have? I know our last podcast was kind of long, but there's just so many good nuanced scenes that you want to talk about them all. And of course we won't.
Right.
But, okay. So I tried to limit my list.
I know.
One is, so we'll go back and forth maybe.
Okay.
One is always going to be the analyzing and opening of the letter.
Yes.
The way they look at it, the things they say about it, where it's been. If it's like this one, the letter was stepped on and smelled a little like there was maybe some dew on it, doggy dew or something on it. And I just love the ritual of that part of it. So we had two in this case.
Yes, we did.
Right. Norman opening his box of goodies when they go to the jeweler.
Yes.
And he compares
that as one of my favorite
to,
scenes.
He's like, we're the Postables, like the Avengers and Incredibles. It just cracks me up,
Yeah, and it was like the jeweler was supposed to know what the Postables are.
Yeah. The jeweler's like, what does he say? He says, yeah, you've said that 4 times, or whatever. It's just so funny to me. And, with everything's so heavy right now in the world. And, we have so much going on. And it's just really just fun to watch these movies.
It really is.
They're heartfelt, and there's moments of humor and fun and giddiness and childlike happiness, and it's just they're so good. All right,
yes, they are.
Anyway, and then I loved Ramon as the weatherman.
Oh,
his
Ramon,
character.
I love Ramon.
I know.
I love it when he's in it because he's got a different job every time.
It's so great. It's just so fun to watch him. So he's like the jack of all trades. It just cracks me up. All right, you name a few, and then I'll go back into.
Well, we're going to stay on Ramon because I had that scene too, the weatherman, because he is so. It's like he's this character that's supposed to be goofy, but he's kind of like educated, and he's a man of the world. He's done a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like when they brought the letter or the video, whatever, when it was in French, and I was thinking, no, he doesn't know French. He's just saying he does, right? But he knows French.
And
the way he told the story was,
it was
so good.
That scene was so good.
Yes.
It was so. And when I think, doesn't Ramon say something like, I know how many different languages?
Yes.
And then Norman,
I know all the
Norman's
languages.
a little jealous, right?
Yes.
And he's in there and he's trying to say, oh, really? Do you know Portuguese? Yes.
Yeah.
And then he names some other language. I forget what. And then he says,
Latin.
And then he goes, of course,
Of
it's
course.
just, or whatever. Latin was the first one.
Yeah.
I think. But so that worked for me.
Because Norman's a little bit, jealous.
Yeah, he gets his little jealousy bone on again.
Ramon's kind of like Rico Suave, right?
Yeah.
He's got something going on there. He likes Rita. But anyways, I had another one, and you had mentioned it, your first one, which was at the jewelry store. I just love the little chicken he had in his briefcase. I mean, why in the world would you have a chicken?
It's
Right?
so
A rubber
funny.
chicken.
Yeah.
That was so funny. But When Rita and Ramon dance at the mailbox grill.
Yes.
I love that she is so like goofy and quirky, but she just gets out there and
she doesn't care, and she is her own person.
And Ramon was like, at first he was like, okay. But then he got into it. And that was I bet you they had a good time filming that scene.
Like the Elaine dance in Seinfeld.
Yes, the little leg kick.
Yeah, little leg kick. I thought that was, they had to have laughed a lot during that scene.
Yes.
And that's where, too, I think, isn't that when Oliver says to Norman, that's the first time you've admitted you have?
Yes.
Because he says, I can't compete with that.
Right.
Norman says, I can't compete with that. Like he's dancing with her.
Yeah.
And Oliver says, that's the first time you've ever admitted.
Yeah.
You have.
And he was like, because he was like, how do I compete with that?
Right.
He's like, what did he say? Get another broom? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good scene.
When she's being swept off her feet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Get a different broom.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what else did you have?
Scenes. When Shane first meets Holly.
Ooh.
In the DLO, right?
She was good.
And then Oliver shows up.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole the dynamic between Shane and Holly, and then Oliver showing up and the look on his face when he sees that Holly is there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that
it was like the air was sucked out of the room. It was like,
oh
my goodness. You know what I liked? It was kind of a throwback to the old time movies. Remember
There's a lot of that in these
when somebody was going from one continent to another, they do the old like cartoon map and then the airplane going over.
Oh, that's right.
I loved that, and they had the old time music to it too.
They did.
That was when Holly was flying from Europe to the United States,
from Paris.
From Paris.
From Paris.
I thought that was pretty good. And
that's a really good point.
Because they had a lot of old music in this one.
They did.
Which brings me, and I'll talk about this later on some interesting things. Another one that I liked was when Shane was up on the rack in the
scaffolding.
No, it wasn't scaffolding. It's where they put pallets of boxes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
Well, she was up on that, which
right.
That wouldn't really happen in real life because that's a insurance issue.
Okay. Anyway,
but she tells Oliver to come up, right?
Yes.
And then they're sitting there with their feet dangling, and they're talking about forgiveness because Shane says, you have to forgive. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really cool scene.
That was a great scene. Well, I think it's because Oliver too, who doesn't talk a lot about his emotions and everything, he's sort of trapped in that moment, and he has to. Well, he doesn't have to, but it's sort of a moment where you're. I don't know what the right word is. Like you let things go and you're free and you're kind of up there. It's just you and, just him and Shane. And that was a great scene. Also, that was a little bit later, I guess.
Yeah. But do you have anything else?
When Oliver walks out of the DLO after talking with Holly and the other three act like they weren't spying on them. It's just cute and funny. I just like scenes like that where they're kind of peeking in.
Yeah. When Holly comes out first and they scoot to the racks and everything, and then Oliver comes out and they do the same thing again. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I have a couple other. Do you have any more, or were you?
Yeah, I have. Okay. I have one more.
I have two more. All right, go ahead. You want me to go?
Yeah,
let me
go. Go ahead.
All right. So the scene where Norman and Rita are tearing up when Shane says she's leaving when they come into the DLO, right? And Shane has left a letter. And she says she's leaving for good. And then that leads into Norman and Rita's big scene.
Yes.
Right. So, and I thought it was so cute when, he doesn't understand why Shane is leaving. And Rita says something like, well, it's because Norman's like, what does this have to do? Why? I don't understand. And what does Rita say? Something like Holly. It's Holly. And Norman, like a guy, would be like, what's Holly have to do with this? Like, has no idea, this whole big thing is going on. And then Rita says, it was really cute when two people don't tell someone they care about them, and then that person doesn't know they care about them, and then they find someone else who cares about them. She's crying, and it was so well written and so well done. And then, and then Norman asks Rita if she's in love with Ramon.
I know.
And she says, no, I know you're tearing up right now. This man that
I
I'm
have something
sitting
in
with
my eye.
is tearing
I'm not
up
tearing
a little
up.
bit.
There's something in my eye.
And then, she's like, no, I'm in love with you, and it was so good. And his face lit up. The facial expressions on Norman are so good. And they both were tearing up. And then, of course, they have the big kiss.
Yes, he laid it on her.
Smiles. Just such a sweet moment. It really worked for me. So that whole scene really.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that scene because I swear after he kissed her and the camera focused back on him, it looked like he was glowing.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure, but it did look like that. And the funny thing about that scene is he goes, I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
I know.
After a
it
big
made it
kiss
like a big,
that.
like teary-eyed, heartfelt scene. Yeah, and they kiss, and then he goes, I'm hungry. And she kind of laughs. It was so cute.
Yeah, he had a couple firsts in this movie. Well, one of my other favorite scenes, or my last one, is when Shane gets up on stage at the comedy show. And he's warming up the crowd. Norman, sorry.
Right.
Norman gets up on stage because he's sitting there listening to Shane and Rita talk about getting Ramon to come in and do it. And, Norman wasn't having any of that.
Right.
And he went up there and he was just so shy. And so he plays that character
At first, and then he kind of opens up once he starts talking about things that he knows really well. When he starts talking about, hey, we're in the dead letter, and it's.
And it's so funny.
Yeah.
And Rita just walks up to the front of the stage and she's just looking up at him. She's just
watching him. Yeah.
So proud.
Yeah.
So that was, well, actually I did have one more, but you have one more?
I have one more. So I loved the very last scene.
That's mine.
Is that what you have too?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just Oliver and Shane. He's put together a porch swing for her because she mentions at the beginning how she used to love to sit on the porch swing, right?
Mm-hmm. As a young child.
Mm-hmm. And so because she knew like the porch swing would go up just before when spring was about to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So she knew the warmer weather was coming and change and all that. And she used to love it. So I loved their like banter. I love that, everything that she said, Oliver had a counter to.
Yeah. She said metaphors.
Yeah, like I quit the post office forever, and he's like, "No, you didn't." And then she says, "You won't have a hard time replacing me." And he says, "You're irreplaceable, or that would be impossible."
We didn't even have that position before you came.
Yeah, and then it was so sweet when he says he wondered what he would do if he was ever, and I'm paraphrasing, free from Holly, not in a bad way, but just he wondered what he would do if she did come back, what would happen? And if they did get divorced, what would happen? And then Shane asked him, well, what did you do? And he said, I went and bought a porch swing. Yeah. And I was like, that was him telling her. It was so good. Oh my gosh.
You want to know what that reminds me of?
That was so good.
That reminded, and you got me watching Dawson's Creek.
Yes.
And that your favorite scene.
My favorite scene ever.
You explain it because you do it better than I do.
That's what it reminded you of?
That's what it reminded me
So
of.
that scene reminded you. There's a scene in Dawson's Creek where they're at the anti-prom.
Right.
And if you've never watched Dawson's Creek, go watch it. Even though it's about young kids. It's so good, so good. And there's a scene where Pacey and Joey are dancing. And Joey's wearing some earrings that aren't really her.
Right.
Right? They're not really her. And Pacey says to her, I don't, those earrings aren't you. They're kind of, they're too formal, you know? And Joey's like, well, what? You mean I can't wear something like that? And he goes, no, this bracelet is you. This is, this says who you are. I know your mom and you love it so much because your mom gave it to you. Or, he goes on this thing and she says, how do you remember? You remember that? And he says, I remember everything. Right. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yes. And that's what it reminded me
That's
of.
The scene.
Because Oliver remembered the conversation.
Right.
I mean, how cool is that?
Well, Oliver remembers, I think.
Everything.
He's
got like a photographic memory or something.
I love his character. He's like this old soul in this, younger man's body, not like a teenager, but just, 30.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what YouTube is.
I know. That's so funny. Oh gosh. Okay. Did you have any more scenes?
No,
We could go on forever. I have so many in my notes,
No,
but
that was
those
it.
were the highlights.
What about biggest cheer?
All right. You want me to go or do you want to go?
Well, I'll do it.
Okay. You go first.
He didn't stay with Holly. That was my biggest
Oh,
cheer.
that was your biggest cheer.
From
Yeah,
watching
no, I get it.
To the Moon and Back, he doesn't stay with her, but I thought that was cool. And I
Well,
loved how
right.
it was mutual. I'm glad it wasn't one wanted it and one didn't.
That is exactly what I have as one of my big cheers too.
I'm so glad they did it that way.
Yes.
And boy, when Shane was looking in the window and saying, "Don't kiss her, don't kiss, don't kiss,"
and then they kissed,
and woof,
right,
another scene, that
right, right, tear up. Well, and then you think about Shane and how she is going off topic a little bit, but I have to discuss it. How she, she finds the letter that Oliver wrote. It never got delivered to Paris, and she knows she shouldn't read it, but she's dying to read it. Yeah. So she has Rita come with her, and Rita opens it and reads it, or it's already open. I forget. And then there's this whole, she's torn. She should give it to him. Mm-hmm. They need to mail it because it should go to her, but Shane doesn't. You can tell she's torn. She doesn't want to, but she does the right thing.
Right.
Because it really should go to her. And so.
Yeah. What about you?
That's along one of my first biggest cheers, the relationship developments and emphasis on how important communication is.
Yes.
Right. So we had I love that they didn't have Oliver and Holly as enemies. Like you mentioned, they didn't make Holly this evil person.
Right.
And I really loved that they wrapped up that storyline. It didn't drag on for the rest of the movies. They didn't drag it out. And it was mutual. Mm-hmm. I mean, had it been a year before, I think he really wanted her back.
Right.
But I think when they had their dinner and their discussion, and she's like, I forget exactly what she says, like, do you still want to be married or do you want to get divorced? And he's like, I want answers. Like, I want to know why you left. You owe me that explanation. But it wasn't in a harsh way. It was just like, we need to talk about it because I need to move forward. Mm-hmm. So I really, really like that. The fact that we saw Norman jealous, but finally opening up more, and Rita admitting her feelings.
Yep.
Like I just discussed, the biggest cheer too was Shane. She could have gotten rid of that dead letter to Holly and never sent it, but she does the right thing. And of course, we have Joey and Katie's storyline where Joey, he was going to divorce Katie because he thought she was seeing someone else. Right. And again, this is where the communication comes in. And instead of talking to her about it, he's going to divorce her, but the divorce letters get lost. Mm-hmm. He gets injured. Katie and him fall more in love than they ever were before, even though they had kind of gotten lost for a bit. And so if he would have just communicated it, and then you find out she was actually talking to somebody,
she was talking to
owner to Ken.
Or is it Ken or Frank?
Yeah, or the owner of the comedy club. Show. And she wanted to do stand-up comedy.
To make him laugh.
But Joey doesn't know that. So I just thought that, their storyline really worked in there too. And it was about communication. Mm-hmm. And had they communicated that at the time,
the same as Oliver and Holly,
he wouldn't have sent the letter. There wouldn't have been the need for that. So I thought that really
the parallels were spot on. And one of the other things that I noticed was, what's his name? Joey, he mailed it on accident because somebody was getting carjacked.
Right.
And he got beat near death.
Right.
Oliver
That's what brought them back
was
together.
in the bank vault near death.
Oh, that's a good point.
When he wrote that. So I thought that was a good parallel between the two stories.
Yeah.
Between the two.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, the flashback moments were really good too.
Really good.
Really good too. And one of my other cheers was the full circle moment of the dance moves.
Yes.
So the dance moves are part of the series, right? Where Oliver learns to dance because his wife always wanted him to.
With Shane.
Well,
she dances. Learns
Holly
it with Shane.
always wanted Oliver to learn how to dance, and he's dancing, and then his partner, doesn't something happen to his partner?
Yeah, something happens to her.
And then Shane steps in and does the dance moves, and then in the scene where Oliver and his ex, his soon-to-be ex, where they have dinner and then they do dance, and Holly is impressed that he finally learned to dance. She always wanted him to, and they're doing the moves that he had done with Shane.
I know.
And that's what she sees in the window. So sad. Yeah. So do you have any other cheers?
Yeah. I like Ramon just constantly makes me smile.
I know he really does.
He was a cliff diver.
Yes, they brought that up. Doesn't Shane say you were a cliff diver?
You weren't a cliff diver. And he goes, yes, I was. And she goes, well, that's dangerous. And then he says, once we face the things we fear, they no longer have power over us.
Oh, that's
And then
good.
he goes, no. Like, right?
Right?
No. I thought that was very powerful.
That was really good. Yeah.
He's a good character.
He's such a good character
I love
in these movies.
I love it.
Oh, gosh. I know. I can't wait to see what they have him do next.
So did you have any jeers?
No, I have one more cheer.
Oh, you have one more cheer. Okay.
And this is mainly about, and you mentioned this earlier, and they're all in Jeff Gustafson is really good at this too, but Eric Mabius is so good at showing without speaking a word.
Yes.
His facial expressions are, we loved him. I loved him in Ugly Betty, but this just really gives a much deeper look into his acting chops. I mean, I think he is so good.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's not doing
good.
Movies,
I mean,
like movies.
Like I said, his facial expressions say everything without a word being spoken. And I just, that is just a huge cheer from me. So, and there's so many times in this one, especially where he kind of he's looking and he gets teared up or he smiles because something really touches. It's just so good. It's so good.
It is. I agree with you.
I'm blown away.
So did you have any jeers?
I did not.
Me either. I didn't.
I literally was trying to think, what am I going to say is a jeer? And I couldn't think of anything. I just, like we talked about, and I really liked Holly's character.
Right.
She was trying to find herself too. I like that and then she said, she was going to come back sooner, but then it just got harder to come back. So you understand a little bit more from her. Like I wanted to, but then it just seemed like it was too long and too much. And, and she had her own journey of what she wanted to do. And, and then so I love
One of the interesting things watching her throughout this movie was she kind of sounded to me like an actress from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
How they were so...
Well, they played it like that.
Right.
They played like the old
so I didn't know if you
detective
caught that.
movies
Yes,
or something.
the
Yes, where the woman
detective
walks in with the heels
Yes.
and like
she was like, Ollie.
I
don't know how to explain it, but it was very good.
It's very much got and that's kind of Oliver, right? Like he's an old soul and
And just one more thing. Oliver walking around the city.
Every movie.
Yes,
I had that in my notes
Yes.
too. He's always walking somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
out of 5 corks, how many do you give it?
I want to give it a 5.
I want to give it a 10. No,
Yes.
I'll give it a 5.
It's
got to be 5.
Yes.
I don't know. They're probably all going to be 5s.
The
It seems
acting
like to me.
is
But
good.
yeah.
No green screens.
No green
Great.
screens. All good.
It was great.
All good.
So is it, and you give it a 5 too?
I give it a 5 corks.
All right. So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
All right. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow the podcast wherever you listen so you don't miss one. Also, follow us on social media. We'd love to have you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And
Please,
hopefully,
please.
it's a positive one.
Hopefully. Join us Wednesdays for new episodes reviewing Hallmark movies and on Tinsel Tuesdays.
Yes.
Which we are reviewing all things Christmas. We'll also be dropping bonus episodes of the Signed, Sealed, Delivered movie, so make sure you follow us on social media and wherever you podcast so you don't miss an episode. Until then, fill up your glasses and push play. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.